Hi, in this video, we're going to talk about whether 999 can be called from an Alexa or 911. Whatever your emergency number is, we're going to talk about that. And in the Who Knew videos, we want to give you something that you may not know that will hopefully save your life or someone else. So let's get started. I got curious about this because I was watching a 48 Hours and there was a story about this woman named Gretchen Anthony, who tried to call 911 from her Alexa. And surprisingly, nothing happened. So we're going to use that case as a backdrop to what happens when you try to dial 911 or 999 for emergency services. So very briefly, David and Gretchen had separated. Their marriage wasn't going so well, so he moved into his mother's house, and Gretchen was living alone in their property. You can see them there, and in the next slide I'll show their house. So what happened was Gretchen's friends received a message from her saying that she had COVID and that as a result it was really bad, and so she'd be in a medical center. Gretchen's friends became very worried about this, so they asked the police to do a welfare check. So when police get there to do a welfare check, they don't find Gretchen. However, they did find that her security cameras that had been installed had recorded David getting there and looking up at the camera, but then the cameras were busted after that. So they had to go to the company to find out, if there was any video that they could recapture. So something odd happened when David Gretchen was being interviewed by police. He kept saying over and over, 35 times in fact, that Gretchen was alive. And I thought this is kind of coincidental because we have evidence in the UK that the stats tell us that a victim will experience a domestic violent incident over 35 times before the police are called. And did you know that the police in the UK get a domestic violence abuse call every 30 seconds? That's just hard to believe. It's just shocking. So this is why this video is so important. I've done other videos on protective measures, so you can check them out in my playlists, and I'll leave those links below as well. So when they got the results back from the company, they found out that David had assaulted Gretchen, and though her body wasn't in the property, they did find out because the company had restored some of the video, and 48 Hours said it was too graphic to show. But what they could see and hear was Gretchen was frantically telling Alexa to call the police. So just the idea that Gretchen was frantically asking for help from Alexa to call the police, I kept thinking, well, if Alexa doesn't call police, but it can call a pizza place and get your order, why doesn't it call the police? So I'd been frantically looking for something that would explain it so that I could explain it to you better. And I found the perfect article that was just written in June of, I think it was June 14th, 2023, just a few days ago. So let me tell you what it says. The author of this article says that you cannot ask Alexa to dial 911, nor can you ask it to dial 999 in the UK or other emergency services directly, unless you have EcoConnect hooked up to your landline. He suggests setting up an emergency contact and then to turn on Alexa Guard for home security. So once you have the EcoConnect, you will be able to make and receive calls by voice activating it. He also suggests to be mindful of your activation word
if you have small children, as you don't want to cause false alarms.
So what you can do is set up an emergency contact on Alexa. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information as to what happens in the UK when the police get a reported domestic abuse call from somebody else. And your emergency contact would obviously have to have your property address and be able to tell the police where to go. I'm going to leave those instructions down below as well. And in my playlist, I also have instructions on how to share your location using WhatsApp. And we also have a video that what can you do if you don't have any electricity to charge your phone. So check out those as well. So let me just tell you what happens when someone reports a domestic violence call to the police, because in the 48 hours, a neighbor had heard a woman screaming, but unfortunately she didn't call the police. And the 48 hours documentary does talk about why some people don't do this. So just to let you know what happens in England and Wales, police officers are that are in the community safety units, that they're called CSUs, are specifically trained to deal with domestic abuse calls. All frontline police officers receive training on the elements of domestic abuse. Frontline officers conduct the primary response and investigation at the time, immediately following the incident call. Officers in the community safety unit, regardless of rank, receive additional training. This training is comprised of a weeks-long course that focuses on the depths of domestic abuse and issues surrounding the investigation, and bring such matters to court, as well as victim care. So that's why it's a good idea, if you hear something, say something, because the police are aware of this is how we can save lives, is if they get an immediate call, then they're more likely to get there in time. So after Gretchen's body was not found, the prosecutor had decided that there was enough evidence to go forward with charging him with her disappearance and most likely murder. And so they were seeking the death penalty, and to avoid the death penalty, he agreed to tell them where her body was. The police came out and said that they had discovered her body
not far from her property, where he told police he had put her. My heart breaks for Gretchen Anthony. There were warning signs that her ex David had become more aggressive. It is logical to think if Alexa will call by voice activation a pizza, one would think it would call police. But it doesn't. You have to program in the details like you would to order a pizza. And the number cannot be 911 or 999 or other emergency services. But you can program it to a personal number where the person on the other end will know what that call means and where you are located, so that they can call 911 or 999 for you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Information is power. Please like and share, and don't forget that all the links are in the description area. I'm Karen Cole from Legal Money Friends, and if you need legal help, contact Legal Money Friends. I'd love to hear your comments. I love communicating with people after they've listened to the video. And
why not watch some of our other videos? We have a variety of playlists you may be interested in, and as always, there are timestamps so you can jump straight to the area of interest that you have.